What up? Am I live? I think I'm live, right? Hopefully you're doing good. Hopefully you're chilling out. Let me know if you're there, by the way. Definitely hit the hearts on the side. So I'm going to be working on another sketch page, a drawing sketch page. And basically it's another one of those pages where, I'm taking kind of like what I know and I'm actually just kind of drawing random stuff. And this kind of thing is incredibly important to do, in my opinion, because this is kind of like the play aspect to drawing. Right? You're kind of just like fooling around, drawing what you like and drawing kind of aspects of art that you like. So anyways, that's kind of something that I like to do. So when you're kind of going into anything in general, it's pretty important to actually kind of like practice all the skills that you kind of, kind of enjoyed. So there's kind of like I said, the learning aspect of art, and then there's the training aspect of art. So anyways, let's kind of get in here. Like I said, when we're looking at this, I'm kind of looking at like fishes in the back, and like literally I'm just drawing like random stuff on the page for my amusement. And kind of that's the most important part, is the actual like amusement part, right? I'm drawing like random things for my amusement. Hey, Freeman. Hey, Cannibalism. Hey, Will. How's it going? Hey, Ryan. So when you're kind of drawing stuff, for me, right, when I'm like learning, I'm kind of learning the aspects of, oh, that's cool. Let's see. Scotty, how's it going? Anthony, how's it going? Zach, how's it going? Basically, Carter, how's it going? So pretty much when I kind of start drawing in general, I'm more or less kind of like in that mode of like, okay, I got to learn something. And then after you learn it, you want to take it and kind of mess around with it. And that's pretty much what this page is, right? This page is just kind of messing around. Hey, Max. This page is more or less just messing around, having fun, and that's pretty much what I pretty much am doing this on this page, and it's kind of like the funnest parts of my day because I like do this stuff after I'm relaxing. Definitely hit the hearts, by the way, if you can, to kind of throw the live out there in general. And I'm gonna be going live every day if I can. That's kind of like my goal, to kind of go live every day. Hey Nathan, how's it going? Let me see. Oh, thanks so much. Wait, hold on. That's your name. Oh, nice, Johnson. But so in general, when you're drawing, and talk about when you're making up something, right? When you're creating something from scratch, what you're doing is you're absolutely, putting the thought into kind of like, you're putting the thought into structure, right? So if I look at this guy's leg, I'm thinking of the curved, like the slight roundness to kind of that armored piece, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking. Hey, Tayton. Hey, Maxwell. But that's pretty much what's going through my head is, hey, I, want to put different aspects in the drawing. I'm thinking of like how far this is compared to this. So even though this is made up armor, I know this quote unquote piece of like made up armor is going to be higher up on the layers than this one down here, right? And if it's higher up, that means it's going to catch more light than down here, right? And if that's catching more light, then I can kind of like fill this in a dark way. Hey, Austin, I can fill this in with a dark right there, right? I can like literally fill that in. You understand? I can fill that in, and that's gonna look like it's like I'm gonna make it look like it's receding back into there, and that's kind of something that I'm doing like throughout the drawing, everywhere, right? When I like, so right here, I'm thinking this is gonna catch very little light. This is gonna catch very little light, right there, right? So those things are catching very little light, and that's kind of what I'm thinking about all over the place. So looking down on the foot here. Like if you look down on this foot, I'm thinking, okay, I have like my general shape of the foot. And now, okay, I know this piece is going to be rising above, down right there. And then down here, it's going to be a little crack where you're not going to be able to see the light. And I've talked about this before. It's kind of that ambient occlusion that I talk about on my video. You're kind of forming this dark spot that's going to create an anchor, right, for your drawing. And it's going to create an anchor for the viewer too. It's going to guide their eye somewhere. And I'm putting emphasis, like dark patches like that in areas I want to guide the viewer to look for a second, like like going up the ladder. You're guiding their view up into the actual character. Hey, Key Lime. Hey, AJ. Hey, Lexi. Say what's up, guys. If you're there, say how's it going. I just kind of want to, it kind of feels better if somebody's like, hey, what's up? So, I feel like someone's here. Well, thanks so much. Yeah, Lexi, how's it going? Definitely hit the hearts if you can. Alrighty. So what I'm doing with this whole page is I'm kind of just doing a page of this stuff, right? I'm kind of like floating around. Hey, how's it going? Okay. All right. I'm just kind of floating around. And hi, October. Hey, Walladio. Gonna go over here, putting this. So then you want one character to kind of like go in front of the other, right? You want one character coming forward and the other one receding back. How do you kind of do that? And then you're throwing in more detail. So let's just look at this guy really fast. This kind of Batman wannabe thing back here that I threw in. I'm going to draw these thin lines right there that are showing the difference in form and how, hey, Fade, how's it going? Difference in shape of how it's going. And I'm going to kind of pull in here, and I'm going to create another dark over here. And as I'm creating another dark over here, I'm thinking, okay, this should be in front of whatever this is in the back, right? Hey, puppy dog, how's it going? So how would I control that exactly? I could do one of two things. I could increase the darkness right here in the line on Batman, right there. Or this character. Or what I could do is kind of like throw a light, very light. Like, see how I'm doing this right now? I'm kind of keeping it light. Kind of value over the whole thing. See, I'm throwing this. It's really light. I don't even know if it shows up on the camera. Super light right there. I'm kind of like, hey, Bill, how's it going? Hey, you. There's a guest that says called you. So I'm throwing this right here. See how I'm throwing this little shadow? Throwing this little shadow right there. See? Throwing this little shadow. See that? And that's making, I don't know if you can see on the camera. And hey, Dada. Hey, how's it going? Hey, don't say it. Definitely hit the like, by the way, if you can. It really helps out. Or hit the heart buttons. So see this dark right here, the more I push this into darkness, right there, the more it's going to make these come forward. Usually, contrast is kind of what, hey, Justin, how's it going? Hey, Ben. Usually contrast is what controls a lot of this stuff. So if I'm throwing in like some value right here, right? And throwing in a value right here, it's going to make this shape come forward because it's whatever your eye goes to pretty much first. That's kind of like the big thing about it. Let me talk about while I'm just kind of working on this. Hey, Rob Povo. Hey, T-Will. Definitely hit the like if you can. Just kind of working on drawing like a drawing page. I have a ton of these drawing pages, but let me talk about a little bit of just kind of like, I was going to say drawing practice sort of thing, just to kind of, if anybody's interested. So when I started drawing in general, I found a lot of aspects pretty hard to do. And so one of the things I found the hardest to do, and I don't know if anybody has this, was I kind of found my mind hard to combat when I was drawing. So when I was learning to draw at like 18, I would think a lot of stuff. Like I'd be like, hey, this is not going to work. Hey, Jakra. I'd be like, hey, this stuff's not going to work. Or why am I putting in the time to try to learn this skill when I'll never be good at it? Right? I don't know if anybody's felt that, but I've felt that. Hey, Bobby. But sometimes I'll put a lot of time to kind of learn a skill, and it's like, why am I learning this skill? Because I'll never be good at it. And ironically, that affects how much I was drawing, right? Because if I thought I was never going to be good at it, I'm like, why am I doing this? And that would kind of affect my drawing, right? It'd be like, why am I doing this? And I think that's what you call self-fulfilling prophecy, where because I think and I know that I'm not going to do better, that I don't do better. And that is something that, hey, Ant, that is something that I was really struggling with for a long time. Toward the beginning, I didn't put a lot of pressure on myself at all, but then it starts creeping in. Like for me, I think a lot of people are like, "Why am I doing this? I'll never get good at it." For me, my process was like my thought process. Hey Mary, hey David. My thought process was more like, "Why am I doing this? I'll never work off this." Right? I'll never be able to make a living off drawing. That was kind of more my process, where I'll never be as good as like the masters or something like that, or it was kind of like a level up version of kind of what other people were thinking. It wasn't like I'll never get good initially, and that's kind of where like I burned out. Right? I ended up kind of doing 2 years extremely hard, just kind of drawing, random. I just started drawing. I started training really for 2 years, from 18 to 19. And then around 2021, I was able to work. And when that happened, I lost my mind. I completely burned out. I completely was like, this is not going to work. Hey, Adrenaline, how's it going? At that point, I burned out, couldn't get any better. And I was like, what am I doing here? Like, what is this? Like, I'm never going to be able to kind of complete what I want to complete. And I ended up kind of quitting the art stuff. And I was kind of like losing my mind there. I just kind of had pushed myself so hard, and I put myself under so much pressure that it kind of wasn't really worth it anymore. And I didn't know what to do really at that point, where it's like, hey, I only had like one route to do. This was my only route. My only route was going to be, hey, I'm going to do art for a living or something like that. And I never had like any backup. Hey, Brad. Hey, Brian. Hey, Luigi. Hey, JH. But, I kind of put so much, definitely hit the like button if you can, by the way. It really helps out if you can. But if not, I understand. So that kind of pressure was something that I think held me back more than ever, because I saw other people. Thank you so much for the likes, by the way. Thank you. You're amazing. Who's doing that? Is that Jay? Oh, thanks so much, JH. I appreciate it. So I remember when I was doing that. God, you're amazing, JH. Thank you so much. I'm like, thanks. Makes me kind of like emotional almost. Thank you. But when I was putting a lot of pressure on myself back in the thank you. Wow. When I was putting a lot of pressure on myself back in that era, right? I crashed and burned, and I was like, man, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't draw. What am I gonna do? Like, what's gonna happen? And thanks. And I was like, what am I gonna do? So what I ended up doing was I quit for a couple of years, and I think I came back to it maybe about a year or two later. I was like, you know what? I like drawing too much. Thanks, JH. I came back to it a few years later, and I was like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. And so I was like, you know what? I ended up just kind of moving around. Let's move around this canvas thing here. Thanks so much, Andrea. Casey, how's it going? I moved around the what's it called? So when I came back to drawing in general, one of my teachers was like, hey, you're way better than you were before. What happened? And I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I just took like a 2-year break. I don't know what happened. I think what I used to think was that I took like a lot of what I had learned kind of gelled finally, and I kind of got into my long-term memory. Oh, thanks so much, JH. I appreciate it. And so like what I ended up doing was I ended up kind of flip, like I went back into it really hard. And I think what happened was that the only difference was that I didn't put a lot of pressure on kind of learning something anymore. And what it was I kind of learned to actually like what I was doing. Hey, hello. It's funny. I ended up kind of learning what I ended up learning what I like to do. Sorry, that makes no sense. Sorry. I ended up just kind of liking what I was doing, right? Because we all kind of go into drawing to enjoy this kind of process, and we kind of lose sight of that. And there's a good book on that. I cannot remember what it's called. It was one of my favorite books. It's basically Oh man, if I remember that book, I'll talk about it next time. But it's a book that kind of really changed. And obviously, everybody's got like a book, right? Not theirs, but this is just some random book that I read, and I was like, "Whoa, this is good." It's basically it's about how people enjoy doing boring tasks. I don't know if anybody's heard of that. Hey, Kira, but like it's a book about where like when you look at people that like let's say do janitorial work for a living, right? Or doing these long like what a lot of people would perceive as a boring task, and the book talks about how they enjoy that task and how you can go about enjoying a really boring task. Hey Zen, how's it going? Right? And I can't remember what that book was, but I know part of it was small goal setting. I know that was one of them. So, for example, if you're like, I don't know, cleaning a table or something, right? Like for me, I'm just like, oh man, I got to clean this table or whatever. I don't enjoy it or whatever. But for someone that enjoys it, and I can kind of see what they're saying, they will clean part of it, then they clean the other, and you're kind of like set a little goal, like, okay, I cleaned that corner, how long did it take me? You're setting tiny micro goals to enjoy this, and you're getting a feeling of maybe like self-satisfaction out of like accomplishing that goal. And that's how you can kind of like, thank you for the likes, by the way. Thank you so much again, JH. But like, I can't remember the name of that book. I gotta like come up with it. It might come to my mind. But that was one factor to kind of doing that stuff. Because there's a great meme about this too. Thank you so much, JH. I love it. Thank you so much. There's another book that I was thinking about. I'm sorry, it's a meme. It's a meme. And the meme talks about how like you can, like, let's just say you're doing homework or something like that. Thank you so much, JH. Oh, thank you so much, Just. Thank you for the follow, Just. Somebody was telling me, okay, so the meme was about like when you can do, like you're doing, let's say homework or something like that. Let's just say it's a science program or something of that sort. Thank you so much for the likes, JH. You're amazing. Then, so let's just say you're doing homework. And you're like, man, it took forever. It's so hard to do. Like, what is this? It's like one page of, thanks so much, Dave. Or, hey, Dave, how's it going? And like you can do homework, right? But it takes you forever. And it's a subject that's not even that hard, let's say. Let's say it's a math issue that's not that hard. But then you go and let's just say you build models or something. Let's just say you build model airplanes. You have your actual hobby, or you have like a video game. Wow, it's amazing. Thank you for the likes, JH. And let's just say you have like a hobby, like a video game, or let's just say anything like that. And technically that hobby that you're doing, let's just say you build model robots, that model you're building is technically way harder than the homework you did. And not only is it harder, it takes way more time and way more concentration. Thank you so much, JH, for the likes. You're amazing. Oh my God. But let's just say, like basically you're putting, okay, so what's the difference, right, between someone who does homework, it's like a simple page, let's just say it's simple math stuff, and it takes forever, and it's like you're pushing your mind through the entire thing, right? You're pushing your brain through it, versus, someone who is like building a model airplane or something that for their own enjoyment, right? And they're putting in that concentration, a lot of work, and you're putting way more hours than you would on the other one. The difference is you, right? Your perception on it. You enjoy one and you don't enjoy the other one, right? That's literally the difference. So if I enjoyed math, right? Math homework, which I don't. I know some people do. If I enjoyed math, it would be like that would be my thing, right? I would go through it. Hey, bull riding. Hey, bull riding. But if I enjoyed that, that would be easy. It would be easy. It'd be rewarding, and I'd be getting everything I need out of it, etc. Like, I'd get a sense of self-fulfillment from it. And then like the model airplanes would be like really hard, right? So, just kind of that's when I realized my perception was a difference. With all of this drawing stuff, I was like, oh, I have to like learn what I liked about this drawing stuff again, and then see what's so cool about it, right? And why it's so cool to draw better, or why it's so fulfilling for me to draw a certain way, and kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like you look at it that way, your perception on that will change how good you get, and how fast you learn, and how long you remember things. as opposed to just kind of like if I like as opposed to like the way some people see drawing, right? They're like, oh, I have to do this. Like I was just saying earlier, for me, right? I was like, oh no, I have to do this. I'm stuck. Oh no, oh no. If I don't get good at drawing, I'm not gonna be able to make money. If I don't make money, I'm not gonna be able to support people in my life. You know what I mean? So like literally, it's literally just perception, you know? And that's why I crashed and burned the first time. Hey, life is beautiful. That's why I crashed and burned the first time, because what I was doing was I was losing my mind, dude. I was like I was going crazy. I was like, oh no, I have to do this because I have to do this. Oh my God, I have to do it. You know, like it was just so painful, right? And it became like, I remember another thing was back then when I was practicing new things in drawing, it was mentally exhausting. It can be tiring to learn stuff, don't get me wrong. Hey, Charlie, it can be tiring to learn stuff, don't get me wrong. But like, if something's incredibly hard to get through, I mean, it could just be that it's a new task and you're thinking about stuff. That's fine. But you know, if it's like that, like a year in, then you know maybe it's something else. Maybe it's just your resistance to kind of like your resistance to whatever the heck you're doing. You know, so like I'll give you an example of like a good and a bad version of that. So a good version would be I'm learning perspective within drawing. And perspective takes, hey user, perspective takes basically some forethought. You have to kind of think about perspective in a certain way if you've never done it, especially like perspective on buildings. Hey, Will, especially on perspective on buildings, there's a lot of thought that goes into it. So it's normal for, let's just say you or me or anybody to kind of feel a little bit tired when you're learning something like that. Hey, Dr. Satan. Hey, Charlie. It's completely normal for you to kind of feel a little exhausted in the beginning. I get it. And then what happens is when you start learning something, it becomes easier and easier. You actually start to, it starts to become more like chill. How do you say it? It starts like basically I already learned that, you know, this line goes to that line. Now I don't have to think about that actively as much anymore. It starts to become part of you. Hey, Jelly. Hey, Luckiest. Hey, user. So that's normal. What's not normal is I already know what to do and I've been doing it for like a year and it's still so hard, right? It's still like tiring me out and making me like stressed. That's another thing, just stressing me out as I'm doing it, right? Hey, Star, I guess that's your name. But like that stuff's not normal you know what I mean? So like that's kind of stuff that you have to balance. And hey, Mental Lean, how's it going? That's the stuff you want to balance out, because I know for me, it took me too long to learn that. You have to learn that now. Like you have to learn that, I mean, as quick as you can, that, you know, how you do, like your perception on your practice is going to affect not just your practice, but like it's going to pile up and how good you are many years down the line. Hey, nope. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, let me know. But yeah, that's something that it's something that I have to keep controlling too, by the way. So even now, hey Dylan, even now when I'm drawing, I have to think about that right now. Hey Juan, like literally I'm thinking about that exact thought. So I'm just like, oh, I'm learning this. So right now, for example, I'm kind of afraid of color, which I'm going to go into color, I don't know, maybe on a YouTube video more, like just kind of going over my practice, you know, as an experiment of like seeing how I'm doing it, because I've always been afraid of color, and I have a like, you know, I don't have time to, you know, I don't have time to work on it. I don't have time. It's all these excuses, but in reality, I'm just afraid of it, right? I'm afraid of like that trial and error process of like doing all these crummy drawing or crummy, what do you call it? Crummy paintings again. And you're just going in there, you're doing like 20 crummy paintings before you do a good one. I'm just like, oh man, I have to go through that again. I mean, I still do crummy drawings, but like, you know, it's hey, Paul, it's just like, man, I can't have to do this again. So like going through that process, it's like, it's all, I wouldn't say it's all your mind because that's such a typical thing, but a big chunk of this stuff is you learning about how to teach yourself and what makes you a good learner, right? That's a huge part of this whole thing. And I swear nobody talks about it. Like nobody. Like, I think the people that are, not everybody, right? But I think a lot of the guys that are already amazing and working in industries, hey June, hey G, a lot of people that are good and working in industries, I think a lot of them don't even really fully comprehend it. I just don't think they had that quirk to their personality. I just think they always enjoyed it and they kept enjoying it. Like I remember my teacher at Art Center, I went to Art Center. It's in Pasadena, and I remember every time. Okay, so that's a great example of what I'm talking about. And I've talked about this example before. They would be like, "Hey, I am going. We're gonna have a project going on, and we're gonna go over. I think you have to do like a village. We have to draw a village because I think we're doing architecture or something. We do a village, and it has to be. There's vampires around this village, and it's gonna be 13th century. I don't remember where, Romania or something. I don't remember. But the problem is he wanted like, not the problem, but he was like 13th century. Can't be late 13th century. Can't be 14th century. Can't be 12th century. Has to be 13. And to me, right, I was like, what? Hey, Bombert. Hey, June. But to me, I was kind of like, dude, like, oh man, that's gonna be hard. Like 13th century. I'm gonna have to like I'm gonna have to do some like history homework, you know, like to learn about what that is. Because to me, like that's such an ambiguous time, right? Because I'm so separated from stuff, and obviously I'm not a history buff, but I want to be. And I wasn't at all back then. But the first thing I thought was like, oh man, this is gonna be work. Like it wasn't what the guy next to me was thinking. The guy next to me was like excited. He was like, whoa, what? I get to learn about this? Man, this is awesome. I get to learn about 13th century whatever just to do a drawing. This is awesome. Or just to do a painting or a concept art piece, a design. Hey Kona, how's it going? Thanks so much, guys. How's it going? Definitely hit the like if you can. If you just came in here, absolutely hit the like. If you like drawing, if you like, I don't know if you enjoyed me rambling here, but I'm only going to be on for a little bit longer. But absolutely. Or if you have any questions, hit me up. Because I definitely want to hear what anybody has to say on any art related topic. Definitely into it. But so the difference was when somebody told me like, hey, I want this. My first thought isn't, wow, that's going to be fun. My first thought is like, oh God, there's going to be a lot of work. Oh God, that's my first thought. And I took years to retrain myself, and I'm still like that, by the way, sometimes on and off, where somebody tells me something, I'm like, oh God, right? Oh God, I have to draw that. Oh God, I have to research this. That's the first thought. It shouldn't be that. It should be what like the best guys and girls that I noticed that went on to do work in like Riot Games and all this stuff. Hey Maya, hey all these people. Hey King. The best people were absolutely more on the edge of, were more basically thinking like, oh wow, like this is exciting and I can't wait to do this. Like I can't wait to research this. I can't wait to learn about this. I can't wait. They're like knowledge junkies. And that was a big difference I saw. And I could even tell even beforehand who was a great concept artist from just that thought. Just from talking to them, you can tell. You can literally tell who's going to be good. And hey, Matthew, how's it going? Hey, Invite. But it was such a weird thing. And yeah, it's kind of fascinating to see that. And so that's a part of my personality. I'm trying to always kind of like, okay, learning is fun, because that's such a big part of this whole, like, especially in concept art, especially with creating ideas of random junk, right? Hey, and I don't even consider this, I don't really consider this very creative, really. I just it's just stuff I like. But you know what I mean? Hey, Matthew again. Hey, Kelsey. So yeah, like I said, work on your creativity. A lot of this, working on how good you get is really it's almost like self-improvement, really. You're learning about how you take in information and how you learn stuff. So that was a huge ramble for basically like keep having fun. Hey, Ra's al Ghul. I love that character, by the way. So that's pretty much it for the live. I came on here for a little bit. If you have any questions, absolutely tell me, and I will make a video out of it. There's like a video glitch today. Like every video I put up is like getting like no views. So I want to thank you so much, and I will talk to you later. Okay, Tim. Thanks so much. So let me get out of here. What the heck? How do I get out of here?